This is you. You are 34, senior manager at your father's company. He built it on handshakes and honest work. It's a good life, a comfortable life, but not a rich one. You watch competitors cut corners and leap ahead. Your father never cared. Integrity was his bottom line, and you respect him for it. More than anything, you have your own bottom line. Your wife, pregnant with your first child, a daughter, and Devin, your best friend since childhood, your assistant. He shares your father's values. He keeps you honest. You believe, with absolute certainty, that this foundation is unbreakable. You believe you are a good man. Your father retires. He leaves the company in your hands. It's a quiet, peaceful transition. A legacy entrusted. You sit in his chair. The responsibility feels heavier than you imagined. The numbers on the page are stable, but they never grow. Profit margins are thin. Competitors, the dishonest ones, are thriving. They underbid you on every contract. Then you meet Raymond. He's charismatic. He speaks the language of effortless success. He proposes a partnership. He talks about creative accounting, fake vendors, shell companies, a world of profit hidden between the lines. He calls it a victimless crime, a way to level the playing field your father was too naive to understand. You feel a cold knot in your stomach. This is everything your father stood against. You refuse, politely but firmly. You walk away feeling clean, proud. You made the right choice, the only choice. A few months later, your daughter is born. You hold her and feel a love so fierce it redefines your world. This is what matters. This is why you work, to protect this perfect, tiny life. Then the world tilts. Your wife, always so vibrant, collapses. The diagnosis is a nightmare, acute leukemia. The treatments are experimental, expensive. The insurance company sends letters filled with jargon and denial. You feel a new kind of fear, not for your business, but for your family. A deep, cold dread. On the way home from the hospital, it happens. A hit and run. Your car, totaled. Another bill you can't afford. You stand in the rain, the walls closing in. Your father's integrity feels like a luxury, a principle that can't pay for chemotherapy. Desperation is a quiet, persuasive voice. It tells you that good men sometimes have to do bad things for the right reasons. You find Raymond's business card in your wallet. The crisp edges feel heavy in your hand. You make the call. You tell yourself, it's just this once. A temporary measure. A bridge to get your family through the storm. The first deal is surprisingly simple. A fake invoice for consulting services. A wire transfer to a shell company. And then, a kickback. The money appears in a new, hidden account. It feels unreal, illicit, but the relief is overwhelming. You pay for the best doctors, the best treatments. Your wife's condition starts to stabilize. The first lie worked. It saved her. So you do it again. Just one more time, you tell yourself. The justifications become easier. The amounts get bigger. Fake vendors multiply. Accounting fraud becomes a monthly routine. You learn the architecture of money laundering from Raymond. You move your family into a luxury home. You buy expensive cars. You build a fortress of wealth to keep the fear out. But for every dollar you gain, there's a cost you don't see. An honest supplier, a small family business, goes bankrupt because you manipulated the bid. Long-term employees are laid off to cut costs. Their jobs sacrificed to hide the money you're siphoning off. Customers overpay for services, their trust quietly eroded by falsified records you sign without a second thought. You live in two worlds. The loving husband and father at home, and the man in the corner office who moves shadows and lies. The compartmentalization is seamless. You convince yourself the one man has nothing to do with the other. But someone sees both men. Devin. He's watched you change. The late nights, the new secrecy, the casual ruthlessness. One afternoon, he sees it clearly. You order the termination of a contract with a long-standing, honest supplier in favor of a new, unknown company. A shell company. He closes the door to your office. For the first time in your life, he doesn't smile. He asks you what's going on. He asks you what happened to the man who used to work for his father. You give him the explanation, the one you've perfected in your own mind. You talk about your wife, your daughter, the medical bills, about survival. It sounds reasonable. It sounds understandable. You almost believe it yourself. But you can see in his eyes that he doesn't. He tells you that what you're doing isn't for your family anymore. It's for the wealth, the power. He says your father would never recognize this company. He slides his letter of resignation across your polished desk. There's no anger in his voice, just a profound, quiet sadness. I can't be a part of this, he says, and walks out of your life. The door clicks shut, and the silence is deafening. Losing Devin is a crack in your armor. For the first time, you feel a flicker of doubt, but you push it down. You have too much to lose now. You don't know it yet, but the unraveling has already begun. A junior analyst at the IRS flags an unusual transaction. It's a small thread. A single suspicious invoice from a vendor that doesn't seem to exist. An investigator starts to pull on it. More threads appear. Bank transfers, emails. Subpoenas are issued for financial records you thought were buried. Investigators find the shell companies. They find the connections to Raymond. They start building a case, brick by painstaking brick. You feel a low-grade paranoia setting in. Every unexpected phone call, every unfamiliar car on your street feels like a threat. Raymond calls you, his voice strained. He tells you to stay calm, to erase everything. But it's too late. A low-level accountant in your company, fearing for his own future, becomes a cooperating witness. He gives them everything. The web of red string on the evidence board is now complete, and at the center of it all, right next to Raymond, is your name. It happens on a Tuesday morning. You're pouring a bowl of cereal for your daughter. There's a sharp, loud knock at the door. Federal agents. They don't shout. Their voices are calm, professional. It makes it all the more terrifying. They show you the warrant. Your wife comes downstairs, your daughter hiding behind her. Their faces are a canvas of confusion and fear. They put you in handcuffs. The cold metal on your wrists is the first truly real thing you've felt in years. As they lead you out, you see Devin. He's across the street, watching, not with satisfaction, just with that same profound sadness. Your attorney is blunt. The evidence is overwhelming. They have everything. Raymond has already been arrested. There is one way out of a life sentence, a plea agreement. Cooperate fully, testify truthfully against Raymond, and your sentence will be reduced. It's not a choice. It's an inevitability. You agree to trade your testimony for a handful of years of your life. Raymond gets 25 years. Your cooperation gets you 7. But the true sentence is delivered in a quiet, sterile room by your wife. She's read the case files. She sees the full picture for the first time. Not the story you told her, but the truth. She tells you she's filing for divorce. She's seeking full custody of your daughter. She doesn't want her growing up thinking what you did was for love. And now, you sit here, in a quiet cell. The wealth is gone. The family is gone. The company is gone. You think of your father and the simple integrity he valued more than money. You think of Devon and the friendship you threw away. You think of the innocent people who lost their jobs, their businesses, the faceless victims of your victimless crimes. Most of all, you think of your daughter, growing up with a story, a headline, a father she will be ashamed of. And you finally understand. The corruption never began with greed or power or even desperation. It began the moment you convinced yourself there would only be one dishonest decision.